Well, for more on the story, we're joined by human rights activist Steve Letsike. Steve, good evening to you. Thanks for your time. Firstly, what do you make of the findings of the Human Rights Commission against Malema and his comments?
Good evening, Kathy, and good evening to the viewers of Newzroom. I think we really have to reflect as a country with a constitution that is quite clear about non-discrimination, around the role of Chapter 9 institution, and also about how we hold, up high there, democracy, constitutionality, and the rule of law, by the way. And in fact, where we know how strong the Human Rights Commission can be if it follows through on its own mandate, but also if it implements the work accordingly. So I think in the cases where we've seen progress, where we've seen Human Rights Commission even taking matters to the extent of Equality Court. I think it would be worrying if at all we do not have strong presence and effective and functional Human Rights Commission.
Ultimately, part of what is happening here, at least as the Human Rights Commission would see it, is a process of accountability. Do you think that we have enough of that across the board, where political leaders are held to account for some of the comments that they make?
No, in fact, I don't think we have used our mechanisms effectively, because political leaders, first, they commit to be protecting the Constitution, and they do not have that liberty to actually be advancing some of the programmatic statements that are discriminative, or that are also instilling a kind of stigmatization amongst people in the country. So what we are not using very effectively, it's our own mechanism. So, and I think even institutions such as the Human Rights Commission have to be a kind of a space where we reflect as well whether the commission is used to its best ability, but also that the politicians are held accountable in what they say publicly, but also what they do in terms of the conflict that may arise from the statements that may be inciting hate, or that may be inciting violence.
Part of what we've seen is the Commission coming forward to say it needs to be given more powers, particularly when it comes to dealing with incidents of racism and hate speech in particular. We know that we now have several pieces of legislation that are before Parliament that seek to criminalize even something like hate speech, right? But do you think that the Human Rights Commission is the right organization to be tasked with that?
Look, there are various mechanisms that we need to explore. First, I think even before exploring mechanism, we are a country with a long history of prejudice, against people because they are black. And we cannot take away that history, by the way, because there's been ripple effects of trauma generation after generation because of this very same discrimination and prejudice. But there's also intersectional issues that we consistently have to deal with, that, you are black, you are a woman, you are young, and so forth. You could be even gay for that matter. So those intersectional lens has to be drawn. Now, at the same time, what have we done to actually repair the injustice of the past that, in fact, have disadvantaged the very same people who were stigmatized and marginalized? In addition to it, how do we use the mechanisms that are put to actually repair this very same injustice of the past, where we actually need to make sure the marginalized become very strong, have opportunities, but they prosper as well in life? Human Rights Commission is Chapter 9 institution. It's one of the Chapter 9 institution, by the way, which have to be given power besides just observing, besides just promoting the fundamental rights that are enshrined in the Constitution. What we want to be seeing is that the accountability aspect that goes beyond, or that links up to the equality courts, because equality courts are there for that reason, where you fight civil matters and you can take them forward. And I believe very strongly Chapter 9 institutions must be given those elements of teeth to hold people accountable and institutions accountable.
All right, Steve Letsike, we'll leave it there for tonight. Thanks for your time.